12-year-old Mina stood barefoot in the dust, her small hands clenched at her sides as another girl was led away by a stranger. The village square, once a place of laughter and games, had become a place of quiet sorrow. Families lined up under the heat of a pitiless sun, their eyes dull, their voices trembling as they watched their daughters be auctioned off one by one. Poverty had turned them into desperate traders, offering their children in exchange for goats, rice, or the promise of survival. No one wanted this, but no one knew what else to do. Mina had no mother to cry for her, no father to shield her. Disease had taken both, leaving her in the care of a distant aunt who disappeared the night before, too ashamed, or too afraid, to stay. Now Mina was the last one standing. The auctioneer cleared his throat and called her name, his voice echoing across the hushed crowd. She stepped forward, trembling but proud, her chin raised slightly as if daring someone to see her as more than a burden. No hands rose. No offers came. She looked out at the sea of faces, some turned away, others stared with hollow eyes. Even the auctioneer hesitated, tapping his ledger nervously. Mina felt the heat rise to her cheeks, but not from shame. It was defiance. If no one claimed her, she would still stand. She would not cry. And then, from the very back of the crowd, a man stepped forward. The man who stepped forward looked nothing like the others. His clothes were plain and travel-worn, his beard streaked with gray. Dust clung to his boots, and his eyes, tired but kind, met Mina's without flinching. He didn't carry a coin pouch or livestock to barter, only a weathered satchel and the weight of years behind him. His name was Samuel, a widower from across the ocean, who had come to this village not as a tourist or a trader, but as a quiet helper. After losing his wife to cancer 2 years earlier, he had poured himself into rebuilding schools, shelters, lives, trying to patch the world where he could no longer patch his own heart. He hadn't intended to be there that day. The auction made his stomach twist. He had only heard about it through a translator the evening before and had come to see if it was real. What he found was worse than he imagined, girls being weighed like grain, tears hidden behind brave faces. But then he saw her. Mina. The last girl. Standing tall despite her fear, despite the silence that followed her name. There was something in her that reminded him of the courage his wife once carried, a quiet strength, an unwillingness to collapse. Samuel didn't move right away. He watched, frozen, as the moment stretched. No one spoke. No one bid. And yet, something ancient and undeniable stirred in him. He realized he hadn't come by accident. He was meant to be there, for her. Samuel stepped through the crowd, his presence slow but deliberate, as if every footfall carried a question he was finally ready to answer. The auctioneer blinked, confused, eyes scanning the stranger for signs of currency or trade. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Everyone expected a price, an offer. But Samuel had none. He stood beside Mina, looked the auctioneer in the eye, and said with quiet conviction, "I'm not here to buy her. I'm here to give her my name." Gasps fluttered like birds escaping a cage. The auctioneer stammered, unsure how to respond. "Sir, that's not how this works. If you have no offer." "I'm offering something different," Samuel interrupted. "A home. A future. A father." His voice trembled, but not from fear, from hope. "She doesn't belong to anyone. But maybe she can belong with me." Mina didn't speak. She didn't move. Her eyes searched his, looking not for charity, but for truth. And in Samuel's gaze, she found no pity, only a strange, tender respect. The silence thickened until an elder woman near the front wiped her eyes and murmured, "Let the girl choose." Everyone turned. Mina, heart pounding, looked up at the man beside her. His hand hung open, not pulling, not pushing. Just waiting. She took it. That small gesture shifted the air. Not a sale, but a surrender of loneliness. Not an owner, but a father by choice. The auction ended, not with a price, but with a promise no one saw coming. The days that followed were quiet, almost fragile, as if neither Samuel nor Mina wanted to break whatever fragile thread had formed between them. He took her into his small rented home near the edge of the village, a place filled with books, maps, and the soft hum of an old radio. At first, she spoke little, observing everything, the way he brewed tea with care, the way he sat outside at sunset and whispered her name like it was something sacred. He didn't force conversation. He let her settle, like rain finding its way into dry soil. School started a month later. Samuel enrolled her with help from the local council, promising to sponsor her education and help her build whatever life she dreamed of. Each morning, she wore her new uniform like armor, clutching a second-hand backpack filled with pencils and hopes. She read late into the night, eyes burning, lips silently mouthing English words. Samuel would find her asleep on the floor beside her books, and gently carry her to bed. One evening, as they sat under a flickering bulb during a monsoon storm, Mina finally asked the question that had sat in her chest for weeks. "Why me?" Her voice barely rose above the rain. Samuel didn't look surprised. He smiled softly, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "Because you were the one left," he said. "And I was the one still searching." In that moment, the walls between them dissolved. Neither had saved the other. They had simply found what they'd lost. Family. Years later, the hall echoed with applause as Mina stood on stage in a navy blue cap and gown, her degree in global education clutched in her trembling hands. The air buzzed with celebration, but her heart was quiet, full. She looked out into the crowd, scanning for a face that wasn't there. Samuel had passed the year before, a gentle goodbye written in the final days of winter. He hadn't made it to this moment in body, but in every step, every word, he was there. After the ceremony, Mina stood beneath a tree on campus, sunlight dripping through the leaves. She pulled out a folded letter, the envelope yellowed, her name written in Samuel's uneven handwriting. She had waited until today to open it. Inside, his words felt like an embrace. "Dear Mina, if you're reading this, it means you kept going. I always knew you would. I didn't rescue you, you were never for sale. You were meant to be seen, to be believed in. You were always enough. You just needed someone to remind you. Thank you for giving an old man a second chance at fatherhood. You didn't carry my blood, but you carried my heart. That's what matters most." Her vision blurred, tears tracing paths of memory down her cheeks. She looked up, whispered, "I carry your name, Samuel. But more than that, I carry your love." A soft breeze passed over her shoulders like a hand. And for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. Just full. Just home.